campaign trail with Dutch politician Geert Wilders. Today he's in the north of the Netherlands, surrounded by potential voters, smiling for the camera. But he's also surrounded by bodyguards. Bodyguards to protect a man who's built his political career and fame out of saying that tolerating the intolerant in Holland can no longer be tolerated. Yet for the upcoming June 9th elections, Wilders is looking after those he warns are being forgotten in his country, Henk and Ingrid.
We are campaigning for the common people, the people who have lost their trust in the Dutch political elite, because they do everything that is not in the interest of what we call the common Dutch people, like Henk and Ingrid, when it comes to the mass immigration, when it comes to the raising of taxes, when it comes to a very bad healthcare system for the elderly that we have in Holland today, when it comes to the unsafety of the Dutch streets in so many neighborhoods, in so many cities of the Netherlands. We fight for them, and we want to get Holland back for them.
Getting Holland back for Henk and Ingrid. Political music to some, xenophobic warning bells to others. Wilders, like other populist politicians throughout the EU, is playing on a disappointment, a frustration that the economic crisis and huge public debt have put the burden on the average taxpayer, the soul and backbone of Dutch society, Henk and Ingrid. But when following Wilders, the politician was warned about what he calls the Islamization of Europe, things are never without controversy.
He says that Henk and Ingrid shouldn't be paying for Ali and Fatima, and I'm against that. We've got a social welfare system that's for everybody.
The important thing for us is that Henk loves Fatima and Ingrid loves Ali, and that's the Netherlands. Wilders presents a completely wrong image of the Netherlands, which has been a multicultural country for centuries.
But despite the warning bells of racism, Wilders' support comes from those who believe that today's politicians have lost touch with their country.
Something has got to change in the Netherlands, and I think that Wilders is able to do that.
It's quite good that there is something new blowing through the Netherlands. Something different, someone like Pim Fortuyn.
Someone like Pim Fortuyn, a reminder of and tribute to the politician whose open criticism of Islam and immigrants led to his murder in 2002. It was the first political assassination since World War II, and one which shocked a country known for its tolerance. A shock made even stronger when 2 years later, filmmaker Theo van Gogh was killed after his film Submission, a criticism of Islam's treatment of women, was released. Enter Wilders, who likened himself as the heir to Pim Fortuyn. To prove his point about the intolerance of Islam, he made his own film in 2008 called Fitna. Critics say Wilders went too far, and last year the Amsterdam Court of Appeal charged him with incitement to hatred and discrimination. But the trial made Wilders even more popular. Freedom of speech was under threat. The trial was suspended until October. And when the Dutch government resigned in February over the issue of Dutch troops in Afghanistan, Wilders' PVV party placed second and even first in some opinion polls. This is the city of Almere, not far from Amsterdam, a city where Wilders' party won local elections held in March. Caroline van Ginkel and her husband live here. They support Wilders' idea of Henk and Ingrid, but they insist they're not racist or against Muslims. They're just the average Dutch couple who work hard and hope others will do the same. They also worry about crime in their city.
It's getting worse and worse. There are always more robberies, always more people get beaten up, and most of them who do this are foreigners, and I mean more specifically mostly Moroccans and Turks. That's because they don't want to integrate. They think they're above that. That really bothers me, and it's not respectful to those who come here, get asylum, and who try to build a life here, and who have respect for the Dutch culture. I have a lot of respect for them.
Nederlandse cultuur en gewoon te werken. Daar heb ik heel veel respect voor.
Respect, tolerance, integration. Key words for this country of just over 16 million, which has one of the EU's strictest immigration policies. But in Amsterdam, the concern is that politicians like Wilders will cause further tension between the immigrant and non-immigrant population. No one knows this better than Job Cohen, who stepped down as mayor of Amsterdam last March to head the country's Labour Party called PVDA. Cohen, whose wide popularity has now put his party at the head of opinion polls, warns that Wilders is hiding behind the concept of freedom of speech.
He adds another element to it, and that's the element of the Islam, saying that the Islam is a terrible religion which should be attacked and which should be not part of the Netherlands. I think that he made a lot of fear in our society, fear as far as Muslims are concerned, but also fear for other people who now seem to be afraid of a lot of Muslims who only want to do one thing, and that is living in peace in our society.
Yasmin El-Sahi is chairwoman of the Polder Mosque in Amsterdam. She says she's proud that the biggest prayer of the week is held in Dutch. Women can pray in the same room as the men, albeit in the back. And non-Muslims are welcome. She says it's all part of the changing identity of Dutch Muslims, but she still worries about Wilders.
In the beginning, it was really hard for me as a Muslim to hear what all you're saying, because I believe that I'm a Dutch citizen. I'm born and raised here in Amsterdam, so I believe that I have the same rights as other people. But when you hear that and you see how many people are voting on him, I think that was the hardest thing for me to see. I live in a really white neighborhood, and I was like, all my neighbors are voting on Wilders now. And I think in the beginning it was really hard and actually really painful. And after that, you're thinking, no, not everyone is the same, and you have different people, and you see that the left and the right side too are saying for no, because we don't believe that, and all the immigrants are our people too, so that's our citizens too, and we need to defend them too. But you see that the debate about the Islam and the words that they use are really hard now.
Wilders' popularity has gone down in recent weeks, partly because of Job Cohen and also the Liberal Party, but also because of Wilders' platform, which includes a tax on headscarves. But he's expected to get some 15% of the vote, a sign that the debate over Islam integration and immigration is far from over.